What are you waiting for? Through school and through the natural rhythm of our childhoods, we're taught to wait for some authority to either give us what we want or to give us the go-ahead to finally pursue what we want. For most of our young lives, we wait for adults to tell us, okay, now you can go get lunch. Now you can go to class. Now you can get your results. Now you can go buy that toy. Now you can play your games. And so we wait. And we learn how to wait. And I think a large part of our personalities, as they develop when we're kids, are simply our coping mechanisms for the long wait for the authority that adults wield and the long wait for whatever they decide is appropriate to give us. And all of that is natural. I'm not here to redesign all of our childhoods. But there comes a point when you have to change this and start to realize that no one is going to give you permission. No one is coming. No one is waiting. No one is doubting you. No one cares. There are no forces outside of you that are going to make you the chosen one, as you might have read in fiction, or make you the most important person in your life without you doing it first, without you making sure that it happens. It usually takes a huge shock for us to realize this. I could not even start to really consider that I was always waiting for permission. I was always waiting for signals. And you see this in everyone, not just people that are passively living their lives, but people that claim to be very active and yet they pursue what they want only based on things that they perceive to be like divine symbols. I didn't move past this until one of my best friends was struck by a illness out of nowhere, and within 24 hours I saw him go from my friend laughing and joking, slightly sick, to in a coma, on the verge of dying, and likely to die. And he stayed in that state for a few weeks, and so we were all held in suspense. And I was 22, and so was he at that time. And life then taught me, in the blink of an eye, that every single day could be the last, and every single hour is a perfect opportunity to start. A perfect opportunity to do what I have wanted for a long time. A perfect opportunity to embarrass myself. A perfect opportunity to fail. A perfect opportunity to talk to someone who I'm afraid of. To try something I think I'm not good enough to do well. Because what's waiting for us? And not to get too graphic, but when you see someone close to you pass away, luckily my friend did not pass away, but when you see someone get horribly sick and possibly pass away, you see that the physical state that waits for us is so unglorious. It's so, I want to say, just meager. It's just, you see someone pale and thin and sick and wasting away, and you see, so at least on the physical level, that's what's waiting for me. The only thing waiting for me at the end of this life is death. That's the only thing waiting for me. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. That's the only big force that's certainly going to come to me when the time is right. And they're going to decide when that time is right. So if that's all there is, everything else is my responsibility. It's on me to make everything else happen except death. Death is the one thing that's going to happen for me. And with that in mind, all my issues regarding motivation, purpose were solved. Because my friend was in a hospital dying, I was his same age, and I saw, well, the same thing could happen to me. It happens to people all around the world all the time. And that means I have to stop waiting. I have to start. What do I want to do if I was to die tomorrow, and in 6 months, and in 1 year, and in 2 years, and in 5 years? And that becomes a little bit more difficult because to live your life as if you're to die tomorrow might result in a lot of short-term thinking and hedonism. To live your life as if you're going to die in 6 months or a year might change things. You might instead take on big projects. It might mean that you go on trips. But just to live your life knowing that nothing is guaranteed but death, and to take that lesson absolutely to heart, as it only comes usually with seeing something traumatic, like a friend getting horribly sick, that is generally what it takes to do what you've been meaning to do. But I'm telling you now, don't wait for that shock. Don't wait for that horrible thing to happen. You know that this is the case. Think of my story. Think of stories of people you know. Think of all the stories from history, the news, where you see that people are taken too young, taken on the verge of greatness, taken the day that the thing that they've been working on for years finally starts to succeed. This is the state we're in. And I think so much of our problems with motivation come from us simply not accepting that this is the state we're in. Simply not accepting that we are not special, we are not going to be saved, we are not going to be protected. Anything could happen. And that means that today is truly the day. So do it. Stop waiting.